Content Hub is brand new. A lot of you, have possibly not worked with it before. And so I'm really looking forward to sharing it with you and everything that it can do, because it is pretty awesome. And here's my commitment to you today. This is not going to be a demo, okay? This is going to be teaching you how to actually run your content team's processes inside of this new tool, okay? So we're going to show you how to, set things up and use them, but we're going to show you the entire workflow. And what's going to happen here today is you're going to see how in 30 minutes, you can build an entire campaign using this new tool and the AI that is embedded. So we are talking about being able to, in 30 minutes, create blogs, emails, social posts, ads, add them to campaigns, get them pushed out, measure the results without all of the friction, and also how your team is going to have way more visibility. It's going to be way easier to collaborate. So this is going to be fast moving. I talk fast. So if you have questions, one other thing about Daniel, if you have questions, please drop them in the chat. And then Martin, who's in there, he's going to, he is our moderator. So he will flag your questions so that I can answer those questions at the end of the session. So with that, I am going to go ahead and jump right in. So meet the Content Hub, right? And real quick, I'm going to do a quick intro because most of you, maybe let us know if you have been to a webinar with us before. But most of you know me. My name is Mandy Thompson. I'm one of the co-founders at Digital Reach Online Solutions. I work with our clients to ensure that the solutions that they need align with the services that we provide. I am an Albuquerque-based person, so love the state of New Mexico. If you haven't visited it, I highly recommend. But that's enough about me. Let's jump into the Content Hub. So what is it? First of all, this is a big question. Like, what is this new hub that we have, right? So what the Content Hub is it is a revitalization of the CMS Hub. And here's what I promise you. We will get into everything that we need to get into later when it comes to like subscriptions and whatnot and answering some questions there. But essentially, this is a revitalization of the CMS Hub. If you have the CMS Hub, you already have most of these features available to you. So again, we'll talk about that later. It is a best-in-class content tool. There really is not anything out there on the market that even comes close to this right now, okay? So this is something super special, super unique, and it works beautifully with the Marketing Hub. That is how it is designed to work. And it really helps with, to me, when I drill down, like, what do I think is the most impactful thing here, right? It is, the amount of collaboration, but it's empowerment. It's the ability to not have to be like, oh, but I'm waiting on this to do that. And it's going to take me 5 days to launch a campaign that I would really like to launch in one day. This is going to make it possible for you to do those launches in a single day that you want to do, all right? And also harnessing the power of AI. You're going to see how intricately embedded AI features are so that it's so intuitive and it's so easy to access, all right? Some features are available in Marketing Hub, not a lot of them though. Again, we'll dive into that a little bit later, but for now, we will keep our focus on taking a look at what this tool does. So let's talk about why your team needs this tool, why they want this tool. So, right, stop the context switching, stop going from system to do things. Like I think a big part of what causes friction, because we work with a lot of teams in this, it's setting up HubSpot and also on the marketing side of our business, is being able to intuitively connect all the pieces of your campaigns, especially if somebody's newer to marketing. It makes it so much easier to accelerate somebody's learning and the pace at which you're able to deploy these campaigns and get them out into the market, okay? Obviously, like I mentioned, we're leveraging AI, helping to stay organized and aligned in visibility asynchronously, right? Whether we all work in an office together, hybrid, or we're remote, we all know that too many meetings sometimes gets in the way of productivity, especially for our marketing and content teams. So this allows us to have collaboration and transparency without having to jump into all of these meetings. All right. So what are the new tools? So here's what's going to happen right now. I'm going to walk through and tell you what the new tools are really quickly. I'm going to give you a high level view because then I'm going to stop talking and showing you slides and we're going to jump right in and actually use all of these tools. Okay. So brand voice. What is the brand voice tool? So the brand voice tool is a tool that allows you to set your brand voice. So all of us here have used, right? So we asked what your greatest challenges are with content marketing. So it sounds like multiple channels is something that is a common issue. And we hear that from our clients as well. And so, the brand voice, what this is allowing you to do is keep your brand consistent across all of your channels, right? When we use AI, a lot of us have used it, and I'm sure we noticed that the outputs we get, we have to put in lots of prompts and we have to refine what we're doing. And so the brand voice tool is allowing you to take samples of your writing and to set that brand voice and to set that tone before, so that you don't have to do that every time you are creating something with AI. That is going to be a bit of a set it and forget it. And so that's going to drive these other tools, right? Then we also have the AI blog generator. So the AI blog generator is going to use that brand voice. You're going to be able to, and here's what's really cool about it. You can either go ahead and when you're doing the generator, you can put your own ideas in, or it can generate ideas for you. It'll also generate a blog outline. You'll see this in a minute. You can go through this and you can let HubSpot do all the driving, or you can go ahead and do some of the driving yourself and continue to infuse more information to make it better, okay? Then we have an AI image generator, right? So we don't need to go over into Midjourney or any of these other tools to go ahead and generate images, and not just for blogs. Generate images for ads, generate images for social media posts. Pick the style that you want the images to be generated in, right? And as you can see, the AI blog generator is using GPT-4, and we're using DALL-E 3 for image generating. Then there's the content remix. That is one of my favorite tools out of this entire update, because we can take a single piece of content and ask the remix tool to create social media posts, emails, ads, whatever. And we could actually push those over to those tools in HubSpot. We don't have to copy and paste or any of that nonsense. Add them to campaigns and roll all of that up. And then we have AI translations. Something super exciting about AI translations. Anyone here in marketing who's tried to use Google Translate, and then you speak to a native, let's say Spanish speaker, if that's what you're translating to, that Google Translate isn't that great. So we actually did, and with the Spanish language, they have a dozen different varieties. So you can be specific to Costa Rican Spanish, Mexican Spanish, Spain Spanish, right? So we can really relate to however people speak in that particular country, not just the general language. So we actually had this checked out by a native Spanish speaker, and they said that this was just about as good as transcreation. So anybody who's gone through translation processes, transcreation is when we actually make sure that colloquialisms, turn of phrase, that it isn't just word for word, but that it makes sense as how somebody would say it in that other language. We can do that literally with a click of a button. We can also do post narration. So whether we want people to be able to listen to our posts without having to read them, or if we want, ADA compliance, making our posts more accessible, again, with a click of a button, you can add an AI generated narration to your blog post as well. We can now host podcasts inside of HubSpot. So we can upload our recordings, or we can take a transcript and it will create a recording for us. We can put those into our landing pages and put them into content. Then we also have a new content embed. So that's a really cool feature where we can essentially build sections of pages, and then we can drop those into other pages. And if you are still working in WordPress, you can also drop those HubSpot embeds into the Gutenberg editor inside of WordPress. Okay, so really cool stuff. Content library module, that, any of us that have tried to design our pages with all of our resources, takes away the need to design that. You can just drag and drop and choose what type of content. So I'll show you that. And then member blog, I'm not going to spend a ton of time there. This is at the enterprise level only, but essentially it's, rather than having to do full membership registration as we were doing in CMS Hub before, it makes it really easy to just have a member blog. You allow people to see part of the content. They must sign up after that. We've all experienced that on a news site before. And you can set it to all of your blogs or to just specific blogs. Okay. So there's not a lot to demonstrate there, but we will definitely jump into that. So without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and start showing stuff. So here's what I'm going to do. I've got 3 different categories I'm going to break this down into. All right. You can see this in my tabs that I have up top. I have category 1, 2, and 3. So the first thing we're going to talk about is generating content and how we can quickly ramp up and build a campaign. So we're going to do that right now. Okay. Then what we're going to talk about is improving content accessibility. And from there, we are going to talk about content control, right? That's where we're taking a look at those modules, the embeds, and the member blog. All right. So with that, I am going to go ahead and hop over here and get started. So let's start with the brand voice tool. Okay. So this is a blog that we wrote about the critical importance of scalable and maintainable system architecture, which I do think is important. Okay. So we went over here and this is the brand voice tool. And so you find this in settings, and I'll show you where to find it after we do this. So then what I did is I just went ahead and I put the copy from this blog in. I let them know what type of content I was submitting. And then I just made a simple target audience sample. Okay, so you type all of this in, and then we go over here, and this little robot here is analyzing the sample. And here we go. It is said that our personality is innovative, trustworthy, and supportive, and our tone is informative, professional, and encouraging. So if I looked at any of those and I didn't think that was a fit, I could go ahead over here and choose another one. We do have a limit of 4. So let's say I also like to be quirky. So we'll add that. And then let's talk about our tone. Also like to be, we want to come across as instructive. That's part of our brand that we've identified. All right. So now I'm done. And here we go. Now I have my brand voice, right? So now I can go over here and I can also add our company mission to help the brand voice as well. And where should we use this brand voice when we are using AI tools? So there we go. Now that brand voice is set. So again, rather than having to prompt this, and again, all of us have used ChatGPT. So rather than say, write a blog that's to an audience like this and use a personality that's like that and a tone like this and this writing style, that's already done for you. Now you just need to tell the AI what it is that you want a blog post or whatever type of content it is that you are creating. Okay. So that's super fun. So now that we talked about brand voice, so again, real time here, right? We started that 2 minutes ago. Let's say that takes you 3 minutes. Now let's say I want to make a blog, right? Because I'm making a campaign right now. In case I didn't say that in the beginning, that is what I am doing in this demonstration. So what we would do to make a blog is we'd say create a blog, or actually let's generate a blog post, right? So I can go here and say generate an idea. Let's see what it says. What idea? Don't like that one. Let's generate another idea. Okay, let's go ahead and on our keywords say that we want, actually I don't like that idea either. And don't worry, I already have one built out. I'm just showing you how the tool works. And then we're actually going to make a blog here. All right. So let's go ahead and do this again. And this is pulling this based on the blogs that are on the website. Okay. And then let's just say online presence management is what we want to have our keyword. And this is going to be a blog, right? All right. So now we're going to go next and it's going to give me a blog title. So we're going to go through here. I feel like we should have the Jeopardy music while we're waiting for this little robot to let the ideas percolate and deliver them to us. So when we go through this process, it's going to go ahead and give us some options for a title. It's going to let us know, right? Check this out. Search volume coming in from SEMrush. How difficult is it to rank? And how is the what is the keyword intent? How cool is this, right? So then based on what we're trying to do, we can say, okay, you know what? Let's go ahead and say, that we want this. All right, there we go. So we're going to go ahead and choose this. We could also generate a new title. All right, we chose our title. So now we're going to go through and we're going to wait and it's going to generate an outline for us. Okay. So then once the blog has generated an outline for us, then we can go through and we can add a header and then it gave us what our sections should be and we can add talking points and then it will generate a blog for us. So what I went ahead and did right? I wanted to take y'all through from start to finish, but I went ahead and set this up for this webinar, right? So my blog topic that I want is it's for the Content Hub, right? The importance of managing your marketing team's content within a single system that supports collaboration, transparency, organization of campaign assets, and leverages AI to speed up content creation. That's what I want to write a blog about, all right? Keywords, content marketing, and AI, all right? So if we go on to the next page, obviously you're seeing that we don't have the thinking going on because I already went through this process. So then I chose this title, all right? So then we went over here and it gave me these different sections. I deleted a couple of them that I didn't like. I refreshed a couple of them. You can click this button and regenerate a heading. And then I added a talking point for each one. So now I have not done this part yet. Now we're going to wait and just give this a second. And we are going to allow it to generate a blog post for us. So how cool is this? And I want to call out, we have a poll question right now. Like I said, my second screen is not functional, so I'm not able to see my speaker's notes right now, but we are rolling with it anyways. So please do keep an eye on the polls. Martin just added one there. Does AI currently play a role in your content creation process? How many of you are already using AI for your content creation? And you know, I would also love to hear in the chat, like, how much do you like the outcomes that you are getting? Okay. So while we're waiting for this blog to generate, something that I do want to call out about the AI tools inside of HubSpot is that all of these are included in the subscription, right? So we are not having to go in and pay extra for a GPT-4 or a Mid-Journey subscription. All of this is built in. All right, now we have the blog. Look at this. Here we go. Optimizing content marketing with AI-driven CMS. Here we go. It made this image for me because I also asked it to generate an image with the blog. And then check this out. Now I have a complete blog that has been written. Of course, I would want to read through this and edit it before I publish, but take a look at that. That took us about 5 minutes to create a blog. Now you see this generate narration for the post. We're going to get to that in just a minute, okay? So we have gone ahead and created this blog, but now we do have to do a couple of things. Now we can get them to add a blog author through AI as well, okay? But I am just going to go ahead and I am going to add myself as the author, even though AI just wrote this for me. And we're just going to choose a tag. I am just going to choose account-based marketing, even though no, I'm not going to choose that tag. I'm just kidding. I'm actually going to be good and choose a proper tag for CMS Hub. And okay, here we go. So now we have that. So now I'm going to go ahead and publish this blog. All right. So we're going to publish this, and then later my team is going to unpublish this because I have not actually written this, and we are working in our instance because we wanted to be able to pull from the content that was in ours rather than our demo instance. Okay. So there we go. Now we've made a blog. Now, fun part, let's go over to the content remix. So I just made that blog. Now what I want to do is I want to turn this into a campaign, and I want to do it quickly. I want to campaign around this blog, okay? So let's check this out first off. This is what a content remix looks like, and then we're going to build a fresh one using the blog that we just created, all right? So this is a blog post that started, and I told it when I made this one that I wanted another blog post, a social media post, and an email, and an ad. Then what I did is I said, and on top of this, give me another social media post for the new blog. And so that I could say here, you know what? Give me another email for this one here, and please go ahead and generate that email, right? And now it's generating an email for a content remix. You can add content remixes to campaigns, all right? So you can add asset by asset, or you can just add the entire remix to a campaign. So now what we're going to do while that's generating, I'm going to go over here, and we are going to go ahead and we are going to make a new content remix using the blog that we just made. So let's just say our plan, and you can either make your own template or templates already exist, all right? So I'm going to say, let's use this, this template. I want to promote content to a wider audience. All right, so let's go ahead and add content. We are going to grab, let me go ahead and refresh this so I can see where my optimizing content blog is, because this is the one that I want to add. There we go. All right. And we are going to go ahead and add this, and we can we can start from new text, we can also upload a new document. Okay, that's going to be coming soon. So you don't even have to have it in the CMS. So you could just take a Word doc, Google Doc, whatever, and upload that. Okay. So now we have this remix. So let's go ahead and say, all right, I want an image. I want a social post. I want an ad. I want an email. Okay. So now let's go ahead and get that. And let's see, for the image, I want this to be a pop art style, and I want it to be landscape in its orientation. For social media, I would like our company page, and I could add an objective, and I want to include an image. For ad attributes, I would like a LinkedIn ad. I also want to include an image. So, if I wanted to add other objective information about the ad, like the goal of this ad is to get people to click through and read our blog. Okay. So email, same thing. You do have to use a specific type of template. Okay. So I'm going to call this out. We have not updated our templates yet for this. And so the template I'm going to show you, it's not going to be pretty. Fair warning. Again, what's the objective of the email? And then do we want to include an image? Yes. Let's do a digital art style image. And now we are generating. Check that out. How cool is this? Right now, in the background, it is creating all of these assets for me. And in just a moment, what's going to happen is we're going to be able to take a look at those. So in the meantime, while we are all playing the Jeopardy song in our head and waiting for all this content to generate, I would like to know in the poll here what types of content you're focusing on most right now in your organization. And I see from the AI, a lot of you, some of you are using it a lot. Mostly people are unsure how to get it, using it a little bit, not sure how to really allow AI to take off in your marketing organization. Hopefully, as you're seeing these tools at work, you're seeing plenty of ways to do just that. So let's check this out. We generated an image. That's a fun image. Yeah. Let's go ahead and save that in the file manager. All right. Boom. Now that's there, ready to be used. And check that out. It opened the file manager for me. Let's head over to my social post. Let's pretend that I would publish this image. I would not, but let's say that I would. Hey, let's go ahead and save that social post, and let's go over and put that in the app. And then let's go ahead and select a campaign, and let's add it to my Meet the Content Hub campaign, right? So we can go ahead of that, and let's go ahead and save that draft, because like I said, we are not publishing that. And then, let's go over to our ad, and add attributes. We needed to select the page that's going to be associated with that. So again, let's go ahead and go over. Isn't this amazing, y'all? And we are, sorry, I've got a bunch of notifications here. All right. So then we can select a HubSpot page where we want to take people to. We can choose a campaign in LinkedIn, select the page in LinkedIn that we want things to be connected to, right? So now we have this, and we can add this ad to our campaign. And then if we go back over to our little content remix, then we can take this email, go into our email attributes, pick a template, add an objective if we want one. Again, we want to generate an image. And now when we go save this in the app, once again, this is going to take a second, but this is going to open up in the email editor. We can go ahead and save this email. As you can see, we got an image for it. And it has already put that whole email together with all of its images for us. How cool is that? Of course, guys, I am not acting like we don't have to edit these things, but I don't even know that I'm 10 minutes into this demo yet. And we already have a blog and 4 assets to go along with it. And if we wanted more assets, guess what we could do? It's like, okay, well, let's go ahead and based on this email, let's go ahead and make a social media post just for that email. And let's go ahead and let's say we want to put this onto LinkedIn again, and we want to generate another image. Let's go ahead and generate one more social post that we would be able to use along with this content remix. Okay. So as you can see with the content remix, this is really awesome. We're able to put a whole bunch of stuff together. So how much do y'all love the content remix tool? I don't know about you, but that is one of them that I was the most excited about. So I would love to hear any questions in the chat. Please feel free to throw those in there. Looks like lots of y'all are doing video and webinars. Looks like we've got a lot of social content that people are doing. So what I'd like to know next, we have a poll question right now. How often are you repurposing content? Is this a friction point for you? Like you would love to be repurposing content more, but you can't necessarily do it because it takes a lot of time, So a tool like this is super powerful. So I'm going to go ahead and give you one more preview here. All right, look at this. Just made us another social post. Again, I can save this and edit it in the app. It's going to open this up for me. I'm going to go ahead and save a draft of this post. And there we go. So, so this is the content remix tool. Hopefully you guys are as excited about this tool as I am. So this is how we are speeding up content creation, right? And of course you can go into something I do want to call out. Let me go ahead and go here. If you want to add another image, let's say we're like, okay, let's break this up a little bit and let's add another image to this blog. Of course, anytime you're adding an element to, to any of these tools, when you add an image, you can also generate an AI image when you add that. Okay. You can also add social follows. That's new. Audio player is new. So there are a whole bunch of new things that adding products is also new. But again, if we want to go ahead and add an image, we can generate AI images inside of blogs on their own. When we're creating social posts, we can also do it. So something that I do want to go ahead and show you here is, let's say that I go in here and I want to create a social post. Check this out. We have our AI assistant here. If we say that we want to add an image, we go here. And again, we have the option to generate an image. We can describe it, choose our style, choose our dimensions, and generate images. So yes, we can create, we could ask in the content remix tool or the blog creation tool for all of these things to be created ahead of time. But we can also, when we're building on our own, again, add social media, landing pages, blog pages. We can also generate AI images there. So look at this. It is only 11:29. I don't even think that I am 15 minutes into going over all of this. We have everything ready for a campaign. So now I'm going to go ahead and jump over here and let's take a look at category 2. And let's talk about making things more accessible. So y'all remember that I talked to you about translations, right? So check this out. We have this blog, account-based marketing, right? So I already turned it into a blog in Mexican Spanish. And so we can see here that we have this, and check this out. It obviously did not convert the images or anything like that. But what we could do is take this image, add it, and ask AI to redo that in Spanish. So lots of stuff that we can do there, but there we have the whole blog. So let me show you how easy this is, right? So let's go ahead and go over to File, Multilanguage, AI Translate, and let's go ahead. So just like I was telling you, Spanish, look at this. We have Argentinian, Bolivian, Chilean, Colombian, Costa Rican, right? So we have all of these different Spanish, United States, not sure what that means. Maybe it's Spanglish, but I'd be excited to look at that. Well, let's do Spanish Spain, right? So do we replace the original? Are we saving this as new? Do we want to keep the same, what's our internal name going to be, right? And so now I'm going to translate and watch this. And here is our blog in Spanish. So there we go. Obviously, this is an image we created. That's not going to translate, but there we go. We have that. Now, let's say, hey, let's get a narration of this post. Here we go. That's the script. What voice do we want? Generate. And just like that, we are now creating a narration, again, so that we make our blogs more accessible. People can listen to those who otherwise wouldn't be able to consume the content, or people like me who would prefer to listen to it because, I'm one of those weird people that can listen to stuff like while I'm writing. Or while I'm doing other types of tasks, maybe you listen to it while you're answering emails or doing something, tinkering with code. I don't know what you're listening to a blog during, but now you can listen to this blog. So I'm going to go ahead, add this to the blog post. And now we can go ahead and preview this blog and look at that. And it has the proper title, and it is going to now, here's what I can't speak to. I don't know how the accents are with these translated narrations, all right? So you're going to have to explore that on your own. But how cool is this? We can take content that we just created really quickly, and then we can turn that content into more valuable assets by translating it. So we can set up a blog in Spanish, we can set up a blog in Portuguese, we can set up a blog in French, whatever, Afrikaans, whatever the language is that you are interacting with the most. And again, these are not 100% as good as transcreation, but they're pretty darn close. At least they are in Spanish. I cannot speak for every language that is listed there. Of course, you're going to have to test that out, but it is a huge improvement to what we were getting with Google Translate and some of the other multi-language tools that were available. So awesome stuff there. Okay, so now we have done these multi-language blogs. That is category 2. We have translated and turned our posts into something that can be accessible via narration. So now what else do we have? Content control. So now we have the ability to create podcasts. Check this out, right? So we can go ahead and we can upload existing audio, or we can just, put a transcript in and that will create the audio for us. So now we're going to go to the episode details, putting your title, putting your show notes. Again, it can generate an image for you. If this is explicit content, then maybe we want to, warn people of that. So put that warning on there, and then we can go ahead and publish our episode, right? Super easy to use. You can also push with the RSS feed to Apple Podcasts. Currently, Apple Podcast is the only connector for HubSpot Podcast. So HubSpot's actually hosting this content, y'all. And guess what? When we're editing pages, we can drop our podcast into those pages. We can make a podcast page very easily. We can have multiple different shows and multiple episodes per show. So there we go. We can create another show, pick who the host is, and get the artwork for the show, all the categories, etc. And there we go. Very easily, we can set these up in HubSpot. There are different limits on the number of shows and number of episodes that are dependent on which subscription level you have, whether it is pro or enterprise. So super fun stuff there. Okay, moving right along, we're going to go ahead and talk about content embeds. Like I mentioned, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time here because it's pretty straightforward, right? Essentially, you are designing a section of a page. You have everything available to you here, right? So for those of you who haven't worked in HubSpot's CMS, it's amazing. When you think about it, right? When you build a website in WordPress or another tool, you're building it on top of a database built for content management. When you're building a website or web pages or landing pages in HubSpot, you're building it on top of your customer platform. So you have access to everything that has to do with that customer platform, right? All the tools that you're using throughout your marketing hub and elsewhere, all of these things we can showcase, right? And so we have an opportunity to drop our meeting links in here. We have an opportunity, so let's go up to the top. We can drop products, meeting links, payment links, right? So it's super easy. We don't have to go and add all these plugins, etc. We can build this. We want a WhatsApp link because we communicate with clients that way. Cool. Let's go ahead and put a WhatsApp link in here, right? So buttons, call to actions, all of these things that you've already made. And then we're going to talk about the content library here in just 1 minute. We can add an audio player in. Again, that's what we were just showing. We can do that with the narrations. We can also add our own audio. So lots of stuff that we can add to these pages. So I just did a really simple content embed. So the power of this, again, I'm going to show you this in just a minute, is that we can take these and add them to multiple different pages. And we can also embed them into WordPress if you work partially in HubSpot and partially in WordPress, which a number of companies do. So now let's talk about this fun little thing. All right. So now we have, I'm actually going to go over here and I'm going to publish this so I can then put it in a page. So now when we come over here, we have what is called the content module, right? Let's say you have all of these pieces of content that you want to put into a page. You no longer have to get a designer to design that page. You can go ahead and add this template to a page. So check this out. It is right down here. Let me get to it. It is, actually, I might have scrolled right. Oh, no, here it is. The content library. You drag that in and this appears. Okay. So then we click in here. Let's say we want to click into ebook. Okay. Do we want this to be an ebook? What do we want the description to be? What do we want the link to say? And then where is it going? Is it going to a pop-up CTA, a file, content, or external? So if it's going to content, let's select a page. Where is this going? Let's say that this is going to one of our translations here? Do we want to open it in a new, all the things we would normally choose when we're putting a link in. And then we can decide what is the option. Is it an ebook, whatever, to pick which image, or we can go ahead and use a custom image. And of course, we can have AI generate it, right? So ebook in our brand colors. Let's see if that works. That might not give us a great result, but super cool, right? So we can go ahead and create that resource library on our website and create a page for doing that like that. Again, the point of all of this is the reduction of friction and the amount of speed and control and empowerment that we can give to our content team to not have to wait, send it over to the web devs, see what they say, et cetera, right? And look at that. We could grab that image. Actually, that's kind of fun. I mean, rainbow, we've got our LGBTQIA stuff going on here. I kind of like it. I don't know why it thinks that our brand colors are a rainbow, but I am just going to go with it. And look at that. Now I can go ahead and customize that page pretty darn easily. So a lot of features. I went really fast there, but super, super exciting stuff here, right? So now I'm going to go ahead and jump over and let's bring all of this back around the bend and connect it to the tools we know and love in HubSpot already and see where the power really comes together. So going over here to our combinations section. So we create a campaign, right? So I'm going to go ahead and refresh this campaign because I have added assets to it, right? So let me go ahead and go over here and we can go ahead and add those, the blog posts that I just made, right? So we can go ahead and go over to social posts, and I made these social posts and we can add those. We can go over to the ads that were created, right? And look at this. I could even go over and I could add, I'll get to this on the content remix, but in order to add it to your campaigns, you have to move from CMS Hub to Content Hub. They are the same hub. We'll get to that in a minute, all right? Because I don't want to make anyone's eyes glaze over with too much of that conversation. But basically, now I'm adding all of these things. All of these things are in my campaign. Great. And we can do what we know and love, right? We can go to our calendar. Here's everything we've got going on our calendar so we can keep track of everything, right? We can take a look at all the tasks we have and what everybody needs to do and easily switch between. And then once we launch all of these things, we can go over and get our roll up of data for our campaigns and see how all of that work that we did very quickly, what it delivered to us when we actually launched all of it into a campaign, and have all of our attribution and all of the reporting, picking our attribution model, right? And we can go through and look at everything about our campaigns, activity on our campaigns, assets for our campaigns, all of those fun things. So that was a lot of information. It's a lot of change. So something else I want to go ahead, I'm going to go back over here now. So, we combined, I have already done this and gone through these things. So I got a little bit ahead of myself here, right? But all of this works with everything else we already love. Smart content, you can use smart content inside of the embeds, right? What does that allow you to do? If you put an embed on a WordPress page, you can actually use your smart content controls in HubSpot that you don't have in WordPress to control some of your content over there, which is fantastic, right? So all of this advanced segmentation and personalization, workflows, everything that makes the Marketing Hub great, now we can accelerate the creation and distribution of assets to work with those tools and allow our marketing teams to be more effective, more prolific, more productive, and have more visibility of the results they're getting and with what one another are doing to drive great results. So with that, my take on this is that Content Hub is the GOAT for content creators. And so with this, with our GIF of choice, if you know, you know. But what I want to go ahead and do is just talk a little bit quickly about subscriptions. Here's what I'm going to say. Let me go back here because we are not done yet. And like I said earlier, I don't have my second screen, so I don't have as much of the information I would normally get to reference. So apologies for that. But what I would like to know, we do have a poll here. What Content Hub feature are you most excited about right now? Content Remix is getting some love over here. I mean, Brand Voice is so cool. They are all so awesome. I really can't pick a favorite completely, although I am a little bit little bit excited about the content remix tool. So subscription wise, Content Hub now is CMS Hub. So if you do not have CMS Hub and you want these things, Content Hub does still have websites, all right? So what I want to go ahead and drop for y'all right now, please go to the handouts. I have something for you. 24 reasons to move your website to HubSpot. I'm going to tell y'all, I cut my chops being a web dev on WordPress. And if I were managing a website right now, I would want to be managing it in HubSpot, not in WordPress, for all of these reasons. But here's what you get with the Content Hub. You get all these things that we just showed you, and you still get what you got in the CMS Hub. So you can still build your website. You can still, manage all of your domains. You can still do your membership system and your gated content and all of those lovely features that the CMS Hub had. HubSpot just gave it a massive facelift or renovation or whatever we want to call it, okay? They made it a lot better. So if you already have the CMS Hub, you have most of these features. If you do not have the CMS Hub, you would be purchasing the Content Hub. If you would like to convert your CMS Hub to Content Hub, because they are a little different, I know it's weird, we can do that. So here's what I'm going to say is that's a lot when it comes to managing the subscriptions. Some of the features do also come in the Marketing Hub. So if you have questions, please go ahead and put them here. I'm going to take a look at these right now. Martin, if you would not mind highlight, you already did highlight questions, of course, because Martin's also the GOAT. Okay. So if you could, so Susan, when creating a blog using AI, is there an option to state sources? So to state the source of the content, or could you elaborate a little bit more in the comments here on what you mean by that? Or I would be happy to invite you on stage, just so you know. If I invite you on stage, if you want your camera on, have it on. If you don't want your camera on, just know that it's probably going to start with it on. But Susan, let me know in the chat if you want to come on stage, or if you'd rather just clarify more on your question. As far as using, let's see. Okay, so to be able to create the sources, so let me think about that. If you can prompt it, right? So what I would do if I were doing that, what I would do, Susan, is I would add another talking point of sources and then just put that into, or another section for sources, and then put that into the talking points. Okay. And what I'm going to do as well is, I'm going to go ahead, Martin, if you could please pop up in the bottom left-hand corner, Karen's meeting link, and I'm going to go ahead and put that on the QR code on the screen as well, guys. So if you want to book a meeting to talk subscriptions and get some help, like working through that, all right? So with Marketing Hub, there are not a ton of the Content Hub features that are available, okay? So that is something to look at, like what is available. There is some AI generation, but a majority of the features are in the Content Hub. Let me go ahead and take a look really quick here. And we do love Karen Shania. She is so knowledgeable and helps answer all of the questions. So please do, she's a resource. She's here to help. So post narration is in the Marketing Hub, y'all. And you do have in the free version of the Content Hub, we do have, because just like everything else, there's free, starter, professional, and enterprise. So the content library, that little module is included. There is some base functionality of the AI blog post generator. However, you will not get AI generated images. You will not get GPT-4 as the version of GPT that is generating your blogs. Okay. And a lot of this is in the Content Hub. So I think if you want to talk about, if that's right for you and how that might work, getting the Content Hub added on, I would say that, have a conversation with Karen about that. And for anyone here who's not a HubSpot customer yet, that looks a little bit different as well. So I think it's great to have a chat with somebody about that. SMS, great question, Susan. SMS is part of the Marketing Hub still. So that's an add-on to the Marketing Hub. And so that's where you would get your SMS functionality. And so, so that's where that one would come from. And then as far as Marketing Hub features, again, Jasma, sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. I would recommend chatting with Karen about that. She can really help, but a lot of it is in the Content Hub. So Graham, great question. If you were to, if you wanted a second version, I have not tested yet, like taking one language to another language to another language. I definitely think that's something that is worth a test. So our test was going from English to Mexican Spanish, English to Spain Spanish. And so that's how we have done it. And the results of both of those were reviewed and said to be very on point, with like 5-10 minutes of editing needed to make it on par with what would be transcreation rather than translation. So that was really, really impressive to hear. And yes, those are the questions. Does anybody have any other questions? And Susan, I want to make sure that I did answer your question. So any other questions about this? All right, good to know, Susan. Don't see any other questions popping in here. So y'all, this recording is going to come out. We do have another asset. Keep an eye on your email inbox. We're going to be sending out an ebook that's going to walk through all of these features, so that, like, HubSpot has great documentation too. So like the documentation is out there. Go and look at it. And again, Karen's another person to ask if you want to, if you're having trouble finding that, she can certainly help you out. But, we're going to be sending out an ebook that's not only going to talk about, how to use these features, but again, kind of what I went through. How can you create a campaign in 30 minutes and get that into the campaign tool and be able to distribute and measure, and be as prolific as you're going to need to be in the age of AI, when all of our competitors are doing the same thing. We got to keep the pace up. We got to keep, providing great content. It's going to allow us to reach more people, more personas, more audiences, and more ICPs. So that is really, really, really exciting. But with that, I hope that you found this to be helpful. And again, if you want to have a conversation about moving your website, also chat with Karen. Moving your website over to HubSpot is a great idea for a lot of reasons. No more plugin updates, no more hosting, no more worrying about security. All of these other tools, SEO tools, all of that is built in. It's also built on top of your CRM for the best in personalization that is available. And because of how easy HubSpot is to use, it just enables a lot more of your team to be able to work on that. And you can set up approvals in HubSpot. So you can require approvals of web pages and landing pages, so that we don't have, 10 people in the company just, publishing things willy-nilly that might not be approved and be on brand. So much fun stuff here. I know that for a lot of y'all, it might require another hub. So again, if you have questions about that, please let us know. But we're going to go ahead and get you out of here at 50 minutes after, if there are no more questions. Thank you so much for joining us and jumping in and taking the time to learn. I hope that you get a lot of usage out of these tools, and that it really helps your content team to reach more of their goals. And we really hope that we see you at our next webinar. So until then, everybody, take care, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.